We've recently been talking about the horror film production companies and which were most likely to be used in the past and which are used today. I would say from my research that in the past, the film production companies that were used were Universal Monsters, or what it was also known as Universal Horror, which was a name given to a series of horror, suspense, and science fiction films that were made by Universal Studios. They were made from 1923 until 1960 and began in 1923 when The Hunchback of Notre Dame was made, and continued with films such as Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, and Bride of Frankenstein. Hammer Films was also known for being a good horror film production company. It was named as Hammer Horror and came about in 1934. Horror films were made between 1950s and 1970s with this company, and it went through a stage of really successful years where it dominated the horror market and had a lot of success. This was due to the partnerships it had with the studios such as the Warner Brothers, which was really big in the United States at the time. They stopped producing horror films in the mid-1980s, and in 2000 it was bought by two associated companies. Recently, we've seen these produce films such as Let Me In 2010, The Resident in 2011, and The Woman in Black in 2012. From my research, I would say that today horror films are distributed by both mainstream Hollywood studios and small independent studios. These studios may include Paramount Pictures. This is a distribution company which is based in Hollywood and is a very large company distributing many films. An example of a recent horror film that they've distributed is Shutter Island from 2010. This company was first set up in 1912, so has been going for a long time. In 1997, Lionsgate Films were founded, and they're a very successful independent film company. They specialise in horrors and thrillers, and they released the horror Saw 6. To conclude, many horror films from independent and mainstream studios can be very successful, and they are released in many ways, such as through cinemas, and some go straight to DVDs or TV, and others are shown over the internet.